dollars. Ms. Kunjai claims Mr. Williams infringed on her cultural beliefs by having his dental clinic remove her son's wisdom teeth. Mr. Williams claims Ms. Kunjai signed forms that allowed her son to be cared for in case of an emergency while at the defendant's youth center, and says the plaintiff's son was in pain, so they treated him. Mr. Williams is countersuing for $10,000.
All rise. Court is now in session with the Honorable Judge Hatchett presiding.
All presidents for the
Thank you very much. Officer Ryan, you want me to see it? Ms. Hatchett, you are here suing Mr. Williams, correct? And you are countersuing.
Yes,
You're suing for $10,000, you're countersuing for $10,000.
Yes,
This involves what you say was unauthorized dental work on your son, which was against your culture. Correct. Tell me what happened.
So my son, Jesper, he's now 15. He's been going to youth care services now for the last 5 years. They started doing dental clinics on a biannual basis the last 3 years. And normally there are consent forms given prior to treatment provided. Mr. Williams and I have been very clear about every time Jesper goes, he gets a standard oral hygiene care kit, and then he gets a teeth cleaning. So,
and this is a free clinic that's offered as a community service, Mr. Williams?
Yes, it is. At the Community Services Center, all of our services are free of charge because we get medical professionals to volunteer their services.
All right, so what happened?
So, on the recent cleaning, I dropped Jesper off in the morning. Everything is routine, fine. He comes home and he can't remove his hand from his face. The moment he does, it is blue and purple and swollen because other than a molar extraction, he had 2 wisdom teeth extracted beyond that without my consent.
Mr. Williams?
That's not correct, Your Honor. We do have a consent form on file that she signed that gives us authorization to provide medical treatment in the case of a medical emergency.
And why was this a medical emergency?
The child was in severe pain. He came in, he was crying, he was holding his cheek. He said his tooth has been bothering him for weeks, and his mother wasn't going to do anything about it. When we put him in for an examination by the dentist and the dental assistant here, they saw that the molar was impacted, and underneath the molar was a wisdom tooth that was coming up, and on top of that was another wisdom tooth coming in sideways. So the dentist informed us that this was a medical emergency, that the child was in severe pain, and the tooth needed to be extracted, all 3 teeth.
The mother drops off the child at the clinic, expecting that there would be a routine cleaning, and instead there's an extraction of a molar and 2 wisdom teeth, and this is deemed to be an emergency? I don't understand.
Well, we had told her 6 months prior to watch the molar because we were unsure, just about the molar, that something might be going on there, and so she was fine with that. And then last minute, he came in pain, and then we had to, take care of the molar, which was also causing problems for one of his wisdom teeth, and then his other wisdom tooth was growing in crooked, so we took care of that as well.
At any time during this, did you pick up the phone and call his mother?
No, we neglected to do that, Your Honor, but the reason is the dentist told us that there was immediate emergency. We had the consent form on file.
When you say a medical emergency, that suggests to me that the child's life was at risk.
Your Honor, in the past...
Over a molar and some wisdom teeth?
Well, the other reason that would have to be taken care of right away is that the child is already under anesthesia and was already in the chair, and the dentist felt it would be less painful for the child if everything was taken care of at once. Now, another thing that
he's already on anesthesia and you haven't called his mother?
The other thing that we didn't call...
The answer was no.
Yes, the answer was no, but I have a reason why, is that every time we've informed the mother about problems with this child that he's given us complaints about, she's refused treatment. They don't take medicines. They don't believe in the American way of treating for a child?
Okay, well, let's back up. What is your belief?
Well, we are from Thailand, and the culture that we observe here is the Zarathustra culture. And I have printed documentation to provide some backstory as to our religious beliefs, in which it's infuriated me even more because the wisdom tooth extraction ties very heavily with my culture, and I can't go back and undo what has happened.
So explain to me how wisdom teeth tied to your culture, because this is all new to me and I'm just trying to understand. So could you explain that to me?
Absolutely. So in the Zarathustra culture, obviously, we are given our body as a vehicle, right? So we have our six senses, eyesight, ability to breathe, able to speak words, chew. However, when it comes to the wisdom teeth, not all children grow in 4 wisdom teeth. My son, Jesper, was fortunate enough to grow in all 4. And that is thought to be a gift from our ancestors.
Coming up on The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
There's even now a further infection, which is why I'm also suing for being able to reclaim for the cost of taking him to another dentist.
And later,
What packet change?
who is suing Albert Williams for $10,000.
You shouldn't remove wisdom teeth. Is that what you're telling me?
Correct.
And that particularly with your son, because he had 4 wisdom teeth, that he was special. Did Mr. Williams ever communicate with you before this that there was a problem that your son was having that was causing problems? He has said here under oath that you don't believe in medication. Is that true?
I have spoken with him in terms of taking on recommendations. However, I never updated him as to
Right,
whether or
and
not
refuse
excuse me.
Immunizations. Standard, which is required.
Is that true?
by law.
He has the required ones needed. But sometimes Mr. Williams make recommendations on top of ones I don't approve.
Okay, so now the child comes home, you're saying he's blue, he's swollen, he's bruised. What happens then?
So then he's unable to eat. And he says, I got instruction that I can't eat. And I have to keep, the gauze in. So I do as instructed, because we are where we are now. I'm just trying to even wrap my hands around and figure out what's the next thing to do now. My husband is not here. He's in Bangkok. So I'm connecting with him. You can imagine his father, what he's suffering from. Then 3 days pass and the swelling doesn't go down. In fact, there's even now a further infection, which is why I'm also suing for being able to reclaim for the cost of taking him to another dentist.
I just can't understand why she would complain about receiving thousands of dollars of free dental and medical treatment for her son, not to mention the sports activities, the computer we have,
Well, but that's not
after
the
school.
issue here, Mr. Williams.
Well, the thing about it is
The
that,
fact that he participates in sports and he's had these free clinic.
well, not
visits,
only him,
that's not the
but
issue
thousands
before
of
me
children
today.
in the community
Well?
are going to suffer because you know what they did after her child went home after that extraction? Her and her whole family went on all the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of it, doing nothing but bad-mouthing the center, bad-mouthing me, our partners at the university. And now I'm getting phone calls and emails from those donors and those partnerships saying that they are concerned about bad publicity and that they don't want to associate with the center in the future.
And that's the basis of your counterclaim for $10,000.
Yes,
You're suing her because you're saying that because of things that she has posted on social media,
Yes.
that this is affecting your sponsor.
I'm suing for
Your donors.
slander and against me personally in the center, and also $10,000 in lost partnership with the dentist that runs the clinic at the university.
Now you also want Mr. Williams' program to pay for a flight to Bangkok. Is it Bangkok?
Yes, that's correct.
A flight to Bangkok. And because you want to have a ceremony in your culture to try to override the fact that the child has no wisdom teeth left. Well, I'm not going to do that. But I am going to award damages in this case, Mr. Williams, because I don't think this was handled correctly. And I am so glad that things didn't go terribly wrong. I am not going to award you the $10,000, Mr. Williams, on your counterclaim on this situation. I am going to award the plaintiff $4,000 because I really think that this was handled very, very poorly. I wish you well in the great work that you're doing, Your counterclaim is dismissed. Judgment in favor of the plaintiff for $4,000.
Judge Hatchett has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $4,000.
I hope you now understand my cultural beliefs, and I hope that you will now apply the same respect to all the parents who bring their children to your facilities.
I just feel sorry for all the children that will be negatively affected by this judgment.